What is up, Totem Pole Nation? I'm here with Coach K. Coach Hutchings in the house, too. Glad to be back with you, Coach. It's been a little bit since we've been together, man. Obviously, you're having a good time down there in Florida. I can just tell by where you're sitting.
Yeah, man. Hey, TGIF, the grind includes Friday, and it is Super Bowl weekend. So, yeah, man, we've been dropping gems on them all this week, just preparing for the big game. But, yeah, this is why the game should be in Tampa, Florida, or Miami, Florida every year. I mean, it's amazing. It's beautiful down here. It's the perfect time of year to be down here for sure, Coach.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're in Arizona, and they got the luxury of having the stadium there that they can kind of enclose the roof. They can kind of do a bunch of different things and make sure the game goes on. But like you said, you cannot beat the weather, cannot beat the atmosphere of Florida.
Amen, my brother. Amen.
So I'm going to ask you flat out to start the podcast. Who you got, Chiefs or Eagles?
Man, I tell you, I have kind of been going back and forth with this, honestly, man. And I have some good friends, man. My buddy Mikey Cream, he's a huge Chiefs fan. And, I got another brother named Brandon Hibby, who big time Chiefs guys, man. These guys, they love that football team. And, Andy Reid is a guy that his record after a bye week is one of the best of all time. Him and Belichick, you just give them an extra time, and man, those guys find a way to pick you apart. But then on the other hand, man, a new great friend that I have, David Alexander, he was on with us yesterday, man, and he's a Philadelphia Eagle, man. He's originally from Tulsa, Oklahoma, Hall of Fame there for Tulsa. And he played about 7-8 years there with the Eagles, started over 120 games at center for, Randall Cunningham was his quarterback, went up against a lot of legends there. He was telling us some great stories about, with his insight, and with my friend Scott Bernstein, who's huge diehard Eagles fan. I got a buddy Stu that lives down here, huge Eagles fan, and I got a brother Jordan up north, huge Eagles fan. So, I'm kind of torn both ways, and I'm put in a good position, man, because when I was at Lakewood, we were blessed enough to have a guy by the name of Marquez Valdez Scantland, and he went through Lakewood, and crazy story about him, man. He was actually cut from the team his freshman year. He was probably 5'5", 100 pounds, 100 pounds soaking wet. But by the time he finished high school, man, he was 6'3", 190 pounds, and he was unguardable, and just to see a guy transition like that, man, it's hard not to pull for him. And then, with the Eagles, man, you got Ant Harris there, the Skyhawk and everything. And, you got Wallace as well there from Highland Springs. So,
Yeah, the 804 shout out. Can't go without going with those guys.
Without a doubt. And I was looking it up. There are 5 players from the state of Virginia playing in this game, and there's 8 from Florida. So the talent level in those areas are definitely making a huge impact, throughout all football leagues. So it's very impressive to see. But I think just the insight that David Alexander, coach gave us yesterday, man, and just the flashbacks with Buddy Ryan and stuff, man. And me being from the East Coast, I think I'm going to have a slight lean, towards the Eagles. And, my method behind the madness is, the defensive line, in a game like
Son
this.
Reddick, man, that guy is a monster. Absolute monster.
Right. I think, what you've seen in Super Bowls with these amazing quarterbacks is somebody's got to get to them. Somebody's got to get to them. Chris Jones is a stud, just an absolute stud for the Chiefs. But I just think that the Eagles, they just have so many guys that are kind of interchangeable that they can put out there. And, yeah, man, I think they got a good blueprint. Their coach as well is, he's an understudy of Andy Reid. So I think we're blessed. I think we get a great game, but I'm gonna go 35-21. I think we get a high scoring affair, but I believe the Eagles they're gonna fly in this one, my man.
All right, so if I'm getting you right here, just going off the odds, right? Eagles are minus 125 favorites to a plus 105 Chiefs. Not really, it's a kind of a pick 'em, just like you said.
Right.
It's not really sure who's going to go on. The over-under is 51, so you're going with the over. And the spread is 1.5. So you're saying they won't stay within, which I don't really disagree with anything that you said. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Probably going to start slow. Super Bowls typically do start slow, and then they pick up as the game continues on. I think the week off definitely, or the 2 weeks off, definitely helps the Chiefs in the aspect that you got the quarterback who busted his ankle up. Now he's got time to recover. Mahomes, heck of a player, 2-time MVP of the NFL. And, I think he's just got what it takes to win. However, the offense and the defense of the Eagles is just stout, just stacked, stout. They can do it all. I'll never underestimate Jalen Hurts with his ability to squat, a quarter ton or more. Sanders, a heck of a running back. I think, again, the Eagles are just going to have that little extra edge of what it takes to get the win. They've also been there before in the last, 5 years or so, and gotten the ring. So they got guys on the team that know what it's like to be there, to get there. The Chiefs have gotten there, but come up short. And I just think the Eagles, again, they're going to knock it out. Now, I've never been an Eagles fan. I've never been a Chiefs fan. My family is up in the Wilmington, Delaware, Reading, Pennsylvania area, so you know who they're pulling for. And, I think I'm actually just siding with them just for what's going on with what I expect in terms of being, a football fan and my football knowledge. But, again, Totem Nation, don't go off of anything that I say because I was, 1 for 4 in the semifinals. The quarterfinals. So it's going to be, I think, an exciting game. I don't care about the commercials. I don't care about the halftime show. I care all about what they're going to do in the 60 minutes that they're playing.
Amen, Coach. Question for you. Give me a few, because I know you don't pull for either squad. But you just being a football guy, if you could, man, give me a couple of your favorites from that squad. Just so people know, what era you're looking at, and guys that made an impact that you always kind of pulled for, even though they were for those teams, if you could.
Yeah, really just think about it. You just got to go with kind of the big name guys. Like you already brought up about Scantling. I mean, that guy is an animal. It's a monster. Travis Kelce, same guy. You can always depend on him. Blocking, catching, everything. Mahomes, just a staple of the Chiefs over there. The guy can do it all. The guy can do it hurt. The guy can do it whatever. But speaking of hurt, go to the other side, Jalen Hurts. That guy, something special. Got a lot of talent, so many different ways. Comes off the injury, and everybody's like, well, how's he going to do it? Then he goes nuts, goes off. Sanders, like I said, great running back. The guy that just still stands out to me, I brought him up so many times, Hassan Reddick. He is a scary, scary defensive end. And I always side kind of with the defenses because they always say offense wins games, defense wins championships. And they're going to be able to get after Mahomes. Like if I'm predicting, there's so many prop bets. I'm predicting at least 2 sacks, maybe 3 sacks in tonight's game from the Eagles against Mahomes. They're going to swallow him up. Now, will it win them the game? Maybe. That's the question. But at the same time, that guy, if I didn't really know about him till later on in the year. But I mean, I tell you what, that guy might have what it takes in the next couple of years to be a defensive MVP in the NFL. He is a monster. So I'm just interested to just see a lot of good plays. I don't want to have any of these 3 and outs or on the 3rd down. You're just chucking long bombs, and then it's just a turnover affair. I think pulling out all the stops. If you think back to the Chiefs when they did that little roundabout huddle thing where they came out, they started doing circles and came out, got ready in their stance. And I do think it was a legal formation. But still, pull out all the stops. It's the Super Bowl. So, yeah, I can't think of anybody in particular that I'm really just excited about seeing. I just think the entire game just has such the aura and the atmosphere of, like, this is what football is all about. These are what guys, They put everything and their entire body, their life into getting to this point, and then it's finally here in a little bit over 51 hours.
Yeah, man, without a doubt. And, just to chime in on what you said about Riddick, man, I think he's a guy that was, quote unquote, undersized. So what that means to me is he probably had a really, really huge chip on his shoulder. And that's kind of what he's playing with. And, as a football fan, in general, man, I like to throw it back to, guys that I really, for both teams that I just really enjoyed and loved watching. The first thing that comes to mind with the Chiefs, is Richmond, the pride of Richmond, Virginia, Willie Lanier, and what kind of impact he had. University of Virginia's Barry Word, man, that was such a combination those guys had in the 80s with Christian Okoye. That's a name too. Dan Saliamua was on the defensive line, just a stout guy. And, Derek Thomas, one of the best defensive ends of all time. Him and Neil Smith was very good on that defensive front as well. And, then on the other side, man, I kind of grew up in that area, in those 80s, 90s, so that's why I was so enthusiastic to have a guy like, David Alexander. After that interview and just talking to that guy, man, he's definitely one of my favorite Eagles of all time, to go along with. I mean, that whole team was just so loaded, man. Andre Waters, Jerome Brown, Reggie White, rest in peace to those guys. But they are, legends never die with me, man. I'm always going to put those guys to the top. And, Clyde Simmons, just phenomenal. Randall Cunningham, those are guys that I've always thought about. And, even Vince Papale, you know what I mean? This could be such a tight game where it's one special teams player that steps up and make the play. Vince Papale from the movie Invincible, who, if you've never watched it before, definitely dial into that. That'll get you excited to watch some football for this weekend. But yeah, man, I think we are. I think it's going to be a great game, and super excited. And yeah, man, we'll see what happens, man, for sure.
I want to pick your brain about some of these prop bets. Now, again, Totem Pole Nation, do not take anything we have or we say as what you should do. Okay, these are just our personal opinions, but there's so many prop bets for this game. I've bet on heads in every single Super Bowl so far. I don't think I've won too much off of that.
That's right. I think it's gone like 7 in a row tails, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, so you're due, man.
It's going to happen one day. I'm gonna win that $5 back that I bet on that.
It only took me 500, right?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. Now, sorry, there's just so many bets on this thing. I'm just looking here. Let's see. Do you think we get a score? Who's going to score first, Sanders or Pacheco?
Oh man, that's such a tough one, man. I think I'd almost bet on Hurts running it in before either one of those guys. But yeah, I'll go Sanders, because only reason is Kansas City, man. They just got so many different guys they could throw in there. Heck, they might put Kelsey in the backfield and have him throw the ball.
That is a prop bet. If he throws the ball for a touchdown, that's plus 1,800.
Ooh, man, you throw
big money.
Throw $100 on that, boy. You are.
Yeah, you're paying for a trip there.
You are, man.
One of the good ones I think that actually could happen. You already mentioned it. Either team to kick a game-winning walk-off field goal at the end of normal time, plus 1,000.
That's great. That's a good one. I do like that one. And, the last time the Super Bowl was here, it was the COVID season. And one of the bets that hit that was such a long shot, there were two of them. One of the bets was if they held Mahomes without a touchdown, which the Bucks did. And I paid out a fortune. And the other one, keep this one right here in mind. Will there be a streaker? Because there was a streaker in the Bucks Super Bowl game here. So those are ones that I'm sure will pay you to the moon, and it'll keep you watching as well.
Yeah, there's a octopus bet. Let me head back to that novelty props. We got, will there be an octopus plus 1,400 for yes?
Yeah, I'm gonna not bet on that one.
Yeah, I don't see that. A kick to hit the goalpost plus 450 yes, minus 650 no.
Yeah, I'm staying away from that. That's a
Yeah,
lot of money.
these are the tough ones. Let's see. Offensive lineman to score a touchdown, reception touchdown.
What does that pay?
3,500.
Ooh, I could see the Eagles doing some razzle dazzle for sure.
You brought up a good point. Any QB to have a reception is plus 1,200.
Hey man, Philly special. You gotta think. You got to think Andy Reid's got some tricks up his sleeve. I mean, they did the old circle the wagon deal in the backfield before they lined up, man. I wonder what that would pay if they did that before a play. You know what I mean? I know this. If I had to put my money on one bet, the bet would be that Kelsey is going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, there you go. I actually wanted to think about that. I know they brought it up on the news, about what the mom's going to be thinking of. But really, like if you had even let's just take out the family aspect, right? You got players on both teams that you've coached. Who do you root for? Do you just root for them to go well, or do you root for one of them? Maybe one of them had a bigger impact. What do you do?
Yeah, very true. Yeah, man, it's tough. I think you've won if you got both of them already in there.
Yeah, I think that already speaks for itself. Whoever wins, it's just icing on the cake.
Both of them
but getting to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, both of those guys got rings right now. So, yeah, man, it's good stuff.
All right, let's talk about some records. Super Bowl touchdown pass record is 6. Does it get broken?
Nope.
Yeah, don't believe so either. Super Bowl passing yards record, 505.
Yeah, that's a ton, man. That's a ton.
That's a lot of yards.
It could happen, with this game. I believe that one happened when the Patriots were down by so many points and came back.
Against the Falcons.
Yeah, and I don't know if I see that scenario could be something similar that happens, but I could see this game being a shootout for sure. They could definitely put up some yards, but
all right, receiving yards record over 215.
Man, who was that? Jerry Rice?
I think so. Actually, I do. Yeah, that's why I was supposed to bring that ball in.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's plus 1,600 if somebody breaks that. I think that is the most likely one to happen.
Yeah, man. Kelsey's going to have a huge game for them to stay in it, man. And he'd be a guy I'd see really hard to be able to stay with, man. He's a very talented guy. And then on the other side, man, A.J. Brown. I mean, look at what that guy's doing, man. Sometimes they just throw the ball up there, and from a defensive standpoint, I think you got a little bit better defenders with Philly, but you got Pat Mahomes, 2-time MVP right now, so yeah, man, it's gonna be good.
Last one, rushing record of over 204 yards.
I don't think that'll ever be broken. They
do
not run the ball. We always repeat history. That's kind of what they say, and sometimes you just look back and it's the same looking people, but in funny clothes. You know what I mean? So one day they're going to start pounding the rock again, but I don't think it's this year.
All right, I think that's it for our prop bets. There's a ton of goofy bets. There's all sorts of specials. There's all sorts of novelty props. I really like that QB reception one at plus 1,200. I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm gonna take that one again. Totem Pole Nation, don't listen to anything I say. But
yeah,
I think for me, I'm gonna put a little bit on that because, like you said, it's gonna pull out all the stops and it's been known to happen. So, a little throwback, a little wheel route or something like that for your quarterback. Definitely, I see could happen.
Yeah, and if you got free money, I would just throw 5 on the streaker, man, because that's got to pay a lot, and it's just one of those crazy bets. But if it happens, that's probably one of the first things they're talking about come Monday.
I wish it wasn't a streaker. I wish it was just a player or somebody that's not a player running on the field. Because even when we went to the Commanders-Giants game, it was funny. I was with Coach Taylor, and they actually knew the guy that he jumped onto the field and immediately got tackled. immediately. He was throwing up middle fingers and everything.
Same thing here in Tampa. The guy that took off on the field was tackled by a former football player, police officer, but former football player at I believe Plant City High School in Plant City, Florida. Yeah, I believe that's what it was. Is what we had heard on the inside there, man. Is that it was a Plant City alumni that was the sheriff that bird dogged him.
So I'm just looking. I like some of these jersey number props too. I'm sorry, I'm getting so lost in the gambling. There's just so many bets for this game, and I always limit myself to $50. I just won't do any more because you can pay out a bunch, but you can lose a bunch. But back to just where do we go from here? Is kind of what I'm thinking. You got so many teams making a lot of different moves. We don't know who's going to be on what team after. Do either team have a chance at repeating?
I mean, they both, it's very rare that you have two number one seeds, go all the way to the Super Bowl. So, I think with the momentum and the young quarterbacks that they got there, I would see why good veterans wouldn't want to give those guys a deal. And they couldn't have both teams have many dynasties. I mean, Hurts is only, I believe, 24 years old, and Mahomes maybe 27. Like, these guys got a lot of football left in them. So why not, man? I couldn't see why both of them wouldn't be, your favorite to go into next season as the Super Bowl favorite.
Yeah, and the Chiefs have been that favorite for multiple years, and it just hasn't panned out the way they expect. And that's kind of why I do think they have a good shot at winning. But there's the football sense of me and just what I've seen over the playoffs, not even basing it on the entire season, because playoff football is way different than regular season football. If that's any evidence of the San Francisco 49ers, I mean, just look at what happened there, running out of quarterbacks, right? So playoffs are a different animal. Super Bowl itself is a different animal. Actually, I think back to the Peyton Manning safety to start the game. How crazy things can happen in these games that you just don't expect or don't see during a regular season game. So I don't think you're wrong at all. I think you're hit the nail on the head with these guys. They're young. There's going to be guys wanting to go to those teams. They're definitely going to be in conference championships to come. Maybe they win, maybe they don't, but I still think they're going to be those teams that people are going to want to knock off. And they're going to have to face them again come playoff time.
Yeah, without a doubt. The bullseye, when the bullseye is on you, man, it changes up everything. I mean, look what happened to the Rams. They won and then, turn around and have the worst season of a Super Bowl team ever. So, it's a lot of luck. You got to get lucky. You got to keep guys healthy. And, it's just it's a double-edged sword, when you win the Super Bowl. You don't have as much time to prepare and, you want to celebrate. Contracts are up, big deals, all the good stuff.
Yeah, indeed. And so I'm just thinking about the ticket prices for this game right now. You can buy a nosebleed seat for about $3,300. If you're going to buy any of those lower level tickets, I'm sure they're in the five digits, 10,000 or more. Coach, if you got a free ticket to the Super Bowl that costs $15,000, would you throw it away to run naked across the field?
Is my wife watching the game?
Right.
I'm gonna do the right thing with Valentine's weekend, and I'm gonna ask my wife for permission first.
Right. I think I think the only way you get any of us to do that is if A, the jail and fees are all paid for, the court costs, and B, you pay me more than the ticket costs.
Amen. You got to see what it pays out on those betting sites. You might just bet on yourself and just go ham out there and get ready to get thrown in the ground and beat up on national TV.
Yeah, exactly. And you can live in infamy of the Super Bowls. So, Coach, I think we'll check back in on Monday after it's all said and done, and we've got an NFL champion set up, man. And I'm always itching for the next season as soon as this game's over. We do got the USFL and the XFL to give us a little bit of something as the offseason begins. I've never had high hopes for either of those. I remember watching when the USFL was on, and I mean, it just looked like Division III, semi-pro, whatever ball wasn't really that entertaining. And then the XFL, I loved the first season of the XFL. Not everybody did. I thought it was fantastic. I wish they would have, kept with it. WWE style wrestling, I mean, or football, who can go wrong with that? But they did. So round 2, we'll see what happens. But Coach, I'll give you the last word before we get to our sponsor on what your expectations again are and what you're most fired up for this game. And you're right, Valentine's Day weekend. So, hey, bring the wife, bring the girlfriends, sit them down in front of the TV, take them out to the bar, watch the game, have a good time, and then take them out for, their night actually on the 14th.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. We already made reservations at one of the hibachi places here. That's always fun. But, yeah, I got my 2 granddaughters. One is 10, the other is 3. And I got my daughter, Kathy, going to be there, and my wife and everything. And we all kind of dress up and wear our red and take pictures and everything. And, it's just so nice to see them all dressed up, man. It's, they're all so beautiful. And, then they're stuck with this guy. You know what I mean? I feel like such a lucky guy. When I walk in there, everybody, it seems like they're like, who is this guy? How did he pull all these, how did he pull all these beautiful ladies, So it's always such a blessing and everything. But yeah, as far as the game, man, I could be watching Little League football, and I'm excited when football is in the air, So I think it's all going to be exciting. They do the commercials that are usually pretty interesting, but yeah, as far as the game, you just rarely get the 2 top-tier teams, and you got 2 number 1s playing, and you got, I think 2 of the future quarterbacks that you're going to see in this game probably a few more times, definitely a handful of times between the both of them. And, it's just so many interesting things, with the 2 brothers playing, with Valdez Scantlin, coming from here in St. Petersburg, I'm definitely going to be pulling for him to have a big game. And, with Ant Harris there, playing in the secondary as well, man. So it's going to be interesting. I'm definitely dialed in for it. But, yeah, man, excited. And, we're going to keep bringing you stuff all weekend through this Super Bowl. And, yeah, if you guys got any questions or anything, definitely reach out to us. Thank you, Totem Pole Nation, man. You guys are phenomenal. We love that you're keeping, tabs on us. And, yeah, man, we're here for the people.
Yeah, certainly. And also for the people, we're just going to lead in. Thank you, Cultivate Wellness, for your sponsorships. Really do appreciate you. Check them out, cultivatewellness.com. They got capsules, they got tincture, they got edibles, they got everything that you could think of for CBD. Always talk to your doctor before you start any regimen. And Totem Pole Nation, thanks for checking in. We're going to come back. We're going to be loaded up with all the stats of the game on Monday. We'll be talking all the different things. We're hoping to see the streakers so we can get that big old payday. And, comment, like, subscribe, do all the good stuff. But let us know what you think you might see in this game because it is going to be something a little bit crazy as we know about Super Bowls. Hopefully no butt fumbles. That's for sure.
That's it, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. But we see you, Zach. We see you, buddy. Thanks for watching, my man. Thank you, Totem Pole Sports.
Yep. Thanks very much, Coach. You take care, and we'll be in touch soon. Thank you, Totem Pole Nation.